This video is part of an ongoing series. The first video, linked in the top right, will help you understand and follow every video released alongside it, including this video. Thank you and enjoy. Geeta, La Primera, Paldea's top champion-ranked trainer, chairwoman of the Academy School Board, and the owner and manager of the currency system LP, which has the same one-for-one value as ordinary Poké Dollars, granting her an absolute power over all Paldea. She even runs the Pokemon League. To put it plainly, Geeta or La Primera sits at the highest peak of Paldea's system of governance and holds almost all the funding and resources within the entire region, leaving everyone at the behest of her decisions and goals. But thankfully, Geeta is a seemingly benevolent character, wanting to craft a fair and perfectly balanced world. A dream paradise. Doesn't that kind of sound familiar? Well, it should. The professors also dreamed of a paradise world, and the goals of the entity behind the time machine is also a paradise world, its goals visibly revealed when it defends the current world by triggering Paradise Protection Protocol. We know that the entity behind the time machine at this point in the Eldritch Chronicles playlist is the Indigo Disk Pokemon, Terapagos, a cosmic eldritch entity based on AZOTH and the world turtle. That Geeta shares the same interests as the professors, the entity Terapagos, aka AZOTH, and also looks weirdly like Glimmora and coincidentally controls the entire world order within Paldea, cannot be a mere coincidence. Also, why does Gym Leader Tulip state she has a bewitching aura and find her unsettling? Why does it feel like she has a separate pair of yellow eyes behind her more human eyes, looking into your very soul? Is Geeta, aka La Primera, really a human or a Pokemon or something else? Well, chug that Thonk juice, look into my bewitching eldritch eyes, thinkers, and subscribe! Because we're going down that cosmic horror eldritch-inspired Pokemon theory rabbit hole once more. Let's talk about the obvious first. Geeta's name and appearance. Her hair clearly is based off the tentacles of Glimmora, her outfit is based on Glimmora's body, and her eyes say it all. Very blue human eyes, with the second pair of yellow eyes layered over them. So like, why the creepy second pair of eyes then? Is she a Pokemon in disguise? A Glimmora using its powers to disguise itself? Or maybe she's controlled by one, or secretly a paradox humanoid Pokemon hybrid created by the eldritch entity Terapagos. Let's do a little etymology. She has two names, Geeta and La Primera. Geeta on Bulbapedia describes its origins to be based on Sagittaria, the plant. However, Geeta as a Spanish name translates as Holy Book of Hindu, but the name also has Arabic origins tracing back to the ancient language Sanskrit. Its ancient Sanskrit meaning is defined in a few different meanings like sacred song, poem, and finally, good. Given Geeta's exclusively benevolent personality, the ancient Sanskrit meaning of good fits perfectly, but it also tells us something else, especially when combined with her alternate name, La Primera. La Primera's Spanish translation is the first, with Primera directly translating as first. Isolating parts of her name, such as prime, its English definition describes prime of first importance. It also is another word for main. It's almost like the word primary. But prime also describes a sense of quality or used to describe something as of the best possible quality. Mera is a name often used by Spanish speakers. However, its origins stem from Hebrew. The meaning behind the name Mera is translated as the beaming light, a rising sunrise, commander, princess, a strong and independent leader, and is often used in Spanish to refer to a female who is of high rank or social standing. It's also one letter off from Terra, short for Terastal, the power behind Terastal transformations. That said, Mera also has a number value of 1 according to Pythagorean numerology. It seems almost all things in her name point towards one thing, puns intended. Geeta, aka La Primera, is the single most powerful person and is the sole singular one at the top of it all. But in what sense? Her name also contains era, which simply is defined to mean a distinctive point of time in history. Taking all of the meaning behind her name, we could look at Geeta and La Primera to infer as the one who is of the highest importance, the great leader who was virtuous, good, brought about the era lit by the shining light of Terastal, creating an age of prosperity. But we could go even further. Glimmet evolves into Glimora. Comparing Glimora to Primera, it literally feels like Primora is a third evolution to Glimora when put next to each other. Primora, if reinterpreted as a Pokemon third Evo's name, would literally describe the Prime Glimora, the highest Glimora, which would fit so perfectly if Glimora actually did have a third evolution called Primora. Also, if you took the G from Geeta's name and replaced the P, it would spell Grimora, and doesn't that sound just very weird and suspicious? But speaking of suspicious, Glimora is Geeta's signature Pokemon, and Glimora's main habitat is directly in the same place within Area Zero's caverns that serve as an altar built to harness the terrestrial power of Terapagos. Which honestly makes me wonder, are the Glimora safeguarding the sleeping cosmic eldritch deity, Terapagos? If so, why? Well, Terapagos is based off a world turtle that carries an entire world, aka an entire reality on its back, and also based off AZOTH, the sleeping outer god who remains asleep, dreaming up all of reality. That said, it would then be very bad for all of Paldea if Terapagos was to stir and awaken. Paldea is linked to a larger mainland, which is speculated to be part of the Kalos region. Paldea is also directly shaped like a tortoise. So here's a thought. Glimora and Glimmet might in fact serve Terapagos and safeguard it as well as live off its energy. Canonically, they even consume minerals from the caverns and fill their tentacle-like petals with a poison of sorts from the minerals consumed. And a means to ensure the secret power of Area Zero is well defended. What if terrestrial power is what they are eating, and maybe its dream reality warping power to change and alter things is used as a protective measure to confuse and defend against the opponents of Glimora, and a means to ensure the secret power of Area Zero is well defended. But what if, though, all of this led to a conspiracy spanning thousands of years, so far back even, that it spanned at least towards the ancient Paldean Emperor's time? Maybe Geeta, Primera, is far older than we could have ever imagined. We previously posted that maybe Primera is a paradox humanoid Pokemon created by Terapagos to carry out its will. Maybe she was actually created 2,000 years ago by Terapagos as a human representative, an envoy if you will. The Emperor of Paldea was obsessed with Area Zero and put so much money and resources into exploring its dark cavernous secrets, all in the search of the terrestrial power that lay dormant. Perhaps Geeta played a role in the Emperor's continual research, a pawn of Terapagos used to slowly and meticulously depose the Emperor, bring the Empire to ruins, aka humanity to its knees, install Primera as a leader and ruler of humanity and Pokemon so that Terapagos could have Primera guide humans and Pokemon into a paradise world. The motives here are paradoxical and contradictive because it means that for Terapagos to create a paradise world, it at least would have had to have crippled and defeated the naturally established world order that had formed on the back of Terapagos over the course of centuries. So, effectively, for Geeta's paradise to exist, ruin and famine had to precede Paradise's creation. But here's the thing, all of this theorizing is fun, neat, and cool and all, but how could Primera live so long, spanning more than thousands of years ago and not perish of old age? Also, why does she carry a second name, Geeta? Well, La Primera is used as a title by characters honorifically. But assuming Primera was actually her first and true name given by Terapagos, perhaps Primera assumed the human name Geeta as a cover for her true intentions. It literally is defined to mean good. How comforting for humans to be led by someone whose name directly means benevolence. That said, addressing her apparent agelessness, aka immortality, well, this is where Eldritch lore meets alchemy. So, again, shout out to Loxton and Noggin for their amazing series covering alchemy in Pokemon, because alchemy is pretty much the basis for nearly all of Pokemon lore. Often, Eldritch entities are summoned with alchemical circles, and Eldritch entities utilize alchemical power for their own ends, and the AZOTH, which is an alchemical substance containing the power of all things within it, aka the power of transformation or creation, and can be interpreted as the power of the soul, or simply, infinity energy. The AZOTH is used to sum up just about every single Pokemon regional gimmick's power source, and Terastal is no exception. With the power of AZOTH, an alchemist can create a Philosopher's Stone, which is a stone described to carry the elixir of life, and this stone can be used to create an artificial life form, a homunculus. The homunculus can then live indefinitely, powered by the AZOTH, which is where I lean into my next point. If all Paradox Pokemon are creations from the Time Machine, aka Terapagos' creations, and these creations are dreamed up from the raw Terastal AZOTH power of Terapagos, aka Azothoth the Sleeper, could the Paradox Pokemon be homunculi, artificially created life forms created from the AZOTH? If that's true, we could then explain why Primera or Geeta could live for centuries. Geeta is a Paradox humanoid Pokemon creation, aka a homunculi herself. An Eldritch creation spawned from Terapagos' wishes to usher in an age of paradise for the denizens of its dream world. That's why Geeta is in a seat of absolute power across Paldea. That's why Geeta looks like a human hybrid between the guardians of Terapagos, and why Geeta cares so deeply for a perfectly balanced dream world. She is the hand of Terapagos' vision for the dream world it carries on its back. Quite the conspiracy, if I do say so myself, and honestly, why shouldn't I? As an eldritch cosmic deity responsible for creating a reality full of microscopic life forms living on my back, warring, arguing, damaging parts of the world which are really just parts of my body? Yeah, I might get a little micromanagey myself. Wouldn't you? Well, I leave this conspiracy, this theory, and these final questions and thoughts to you, my dear thinkers, to ponder.
Thinkers, if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts in the comments below and hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to support the channel's content monetarily, you can join as a member on Patreon or join on YouTube. Both will get your name in the credits and behind the scenes access. Now before I head out, be sure to share some of that love and support around at my partner's Instagram at ElfSpringArt.
Additionally, Elfie is now open for commissions publicly, so if you want something created, again, head down to their Instagram page.
Give them a follow. Love ya, Elfie! Thinkers, have a big-brained, thonky day, and be sure to think safe out there. Bye-bye!